All right, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday evening monthly setup. Can you believe we are getting ready to set up our February journals? How is it all of a sudden going to be February? Oh my goodness. So my name is Maya, and I am coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Well, technically it's Aurora, so it's a suburb here. And we are at a balmy, it dropped from 1 degree to 0 degrees. And tomorrow is going to be, I think, like a negative, I don't know, 4 or something ridiculous. So we are super cold, but luckily I am inside. I am wrapped up. I've got my blanket, got the little space heater. We'll be kind of snuggling with the kitties tonight, trying to stay warm because it is definitely chilly. And I know Amelia's saying it's same in Wisconsin. I know a lot of people are dealing with some cold snap stuff. So hopefully can stay warm. And one way hopefully is to be here setting up your weekly or your monthly. We're doing the monthly. So how many of you put a 1 in the chat? We're at the weekly setup that was just like an hour or so ago. Pop a 1 in the chat so I can see how, lots and lots. Yep, I see lots of 1s. Excellent. Awesome. So you've got your weekly setup and now you're getting ready to do your monthly. Awesome. Love that you're here for that, here for the other one. You may have noticed this month in February, we are adding a weekly setup to Saturdays. Yeah, because Ellen is saying couldn't get into that one. It was sold out. So we're marketing is kind of testing out some new times and some new dates and how we kind of do things with the socials to try to get the most folks to come. So we're going to have Saturday, I think it's like in the afternoon-ish, depending on where you are. And then we'll still have our Sunday night setup and then our Monday morning setup. So hopefully, I strongly recommend going in and signing up for those as soon as possible. We do have a pretty big, there's a large cap on it for a lot of people. I think it's about 500, but they do fill up. So just keep that in mind, sign up early. And if you have any suggestions for times or dates or things that you want to see, please be sure and send an email to hello@silkandsonder.com. And let them know, first of all, make sure that you let them know where you're dialing in, where you'd be dialing in from, right? So if you were like, I really wish there were 8 a.m. East Coast time socials for the setup or something like that, right? So try to be as specific as possible so they can take a look at that. And I did notice Jenny was asking why there seemed to be less socials. There's actually not fewer socials. It's just they added that Saturday social, the Saturday one in there. So I think maybe we might be 1 or 2 socials shorter in the month of February. Also, the month of February is a shorter month, so a little bit shorter. So anyway, let's dive in. Let's get to work on setting up our monthly journal for February. So hopefully folks have gotten their setups. Yeah, you're right, Jenny. There's no life workbook socials. We're putting a pause on those right now. So if you want to see those, you can let the hello@silkandsonder know that you want some things to do. And again, marketing is kind of testing things out, seeing what folks want. So if there's something more that you want to see, something that you're missing, don't hesitate to send them an email. And I would also recommend that you send the email, not put it in Sonder Club. You're welcome to put those kind of suggestions in Sonder Club, but they get missed sometimes or they're not seen by the people that need to see them. So I always say send an email, because the nice thing is the headquarters folks, they put a ticket on each email that comes through. Jennifer O is my stage manager tonight, and she's going to put the hello@silkandsonder.com email in there. But they do, like, every single email that comes in that needs a response or is something that's like a product suggestion or a social suggestion, they tag those and they go to the right people. So that's why I'm saying that's the best place to do that, because we're also putting a pause on that survey. You know, you would get the survey at the end to kind of ask questions. They're trying to kind of revamp that a little bit. So and I see someone is saying that they're new to socials. So I saw maybe there were a few folks that are new to socials. So this is a setup social. So this is to kind of get your journal going. We have some journaling prompt socials. And then we also have some exclusive events, which are paid events, which will come later. So the best thing to do here at this social is there's a couple different things. First of all, there's a lot of folks here tonight, so the chat can kind of get cooking a little quickly, right? So if you, if it gets too much, just, take a break. And some people like to just work on their journal. They don't really pay attention to the chat. They just kind of listen to the music, move along. Some folks spend most of their time in the chat, take a few notes, and then they fill out their social, or they fill out their journal later after the social, right? So just kind of see what works. If you're new, just kind of see what works for you tonight, kind of like how this works. And you can attend any of these setup journals as many times as you would like. We have, I think, Jennifer, we were talking about, I think, are there 3 more monthly setups? We've got one tomorrow evening, one Tuesday evening, and then one Wednesday. I think, yeah, Jennifer's saying there's 3 more. So you're welcome. You've attended this one. Great. You can attend the other 3. You can attend as many as you want to work on this, right? And you can also, yeah, Nathania is saying, take screenshots and take notes, right? So if you're on your computer and you've got your little snipping tool, you can take a screenshot. You can also use your phone, kind of hold it up, take a quick picture so that you can kind of remember how things are going. All right. So let's dive in. So this month's theme, the theme for February is passion. And if you've noticed on one of the pages, we have kind of a little definition, and the definition that's there is a strong and barely controllable emotion, right? So just thinking about that definition of passion, I know sometimes we think about passion as being more romantically inclined, those kinds of things. It doesn't have to be. You can be passionate about so many things, right? So many people have so many strong, very passionate ideas and thoughts. I work for, my full-time job is at a public school district. And I think a lot of folks who work in public school are very passionate, right, about education, very passionate about teaching young minds. So I also like to point out for everyone, the best way that I have found to really kind of dig into the month and think about the theme is to read Meha's letter, right? Meha is our founder, and she really puts a lot of thought into each journal, into the themes, into the activities. And reading her letter really helps you kind of get into the mindset, right, of kind of what she was thinking and what her hopes were for all of us here in the Sonder fam as we tackle this month. So I just kind of put a few little highlights on here. I mean, if you haven't read it, it's on page 2. Take some time. You don't have to read it right now, right? But a few little quotes that stuck out with me. The first one is, passion doesn't always come easy, right? The other one is, finding one's passion can't be scheduled nor time boxed. Doing things because you want to rather than you have to. Taking stock of what you're naturally drawn toward. Thinking about what ignites your inner spark. I love that one. What kinds of things do you get really passionate about, right? Really excited, really like that almost uncontrollable excitement. That thing, when you tell somebody about it, you're just going 100 miles an hour when you talk, right? Like what are those things? And what people, places, or objects fuel your passion so much so that you lose track of time? So these are kind of the things that Meha is wanting us to think about as we dive into February and we dive into this idea of passion in this short month. So our agenda for tonight, we are going to have a little opening activity to get us thinking about this idea of passion. Do some January reflections. It's always great to spend some time reflecting on the previous month. Then set our February intentions. Then we're going to work on our mood tracker and our habit tracker. And I have a couple, I love this artist. Her name is The Latest Kate. And she does just really beautiful, fun drawings that are just really sweet and very, very kind of happy, right? And the first one says, there's room for you here just as you are. And I want to stress, I know we have a lot of new folks. I want to stress that this space is for everyone, right? No matter where you are in your life journey. Maybe maybe you just got a divorce, or you're in the process of a divorce and things are kind of stressful and you're kind of thinking of how to move forward. Maybe you just got a new job and you're excited and you've got all this, emotion and energy around this new thing. Maybe you just started school. We have folks who are getting their bachelors, their masters, their PhDs. there's room for you just as you are, wherever you are in your space. And I think that's really important. We want to share our joys and we want to share our sorrows and be very supportive of each other, right? And also the other one I really like, because it says the way you feel matters and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy, right? Your emotions, the way you feel, are the way you feel. Okay. And no one can tell you if that's right or wrong. Okay. So I think it's really important. I always like to set the stage and tell people this is a safe space, right? This is a place for you to share things. We don't share anything outside of our socials, and you should not share anything that other folks have said. And we don't criticize each other. We don't say someone is good or someone is bad or this or that. Yeah, Linda's saying feelings aren't right or wrong. They're just your feelings, and they are totally, totally valid. Okay. So let's jump into our opening activity. This is kind of fun. Get your brain kind of thinking about things that you're passionate about. So find a notes page. I know we always say that, find a blank notes page, but so you can find a notes page, or if you have the thoughts journal, if you got one of those that they have that's all blank pages, a journal of all blank pages, you could use that. Or I thought it would be good to maybe use page 7 that starts right before your monthly setup pages. You could also use the scratch pad section of one of the weeks. You could use blank paper. You could use sticky notes, whatever works for you. So what I want you to do is I want you to list 28 things that make you feel empowered or passionate, things that you're passionate about, right? And then commit to doing one of these each day. So you can think small. Maybe it's listening to your favorite song. I know a lot of folks were commenting. I had The River of Dreams, Billy Joel, as our opening song. Maybe you just want to listen to that opening song. You want your favorite song, list that in there, or it can be something big. Maybe it's going on a trip, right? So I started kind of thinking of mine, kind of pulling some, and I also started to realize 28 is a lot. So you can see I didn't get much past 23 as I was thinking of different things. But thinking of things that I want to do, like getting outside, of course, not right now because it's really cold, but maybe if it warms up a little bit later in the week. Also thinking about time with my cats, time with my husband, time with my friends, time with my family, moving my body, doing a digital detox day, right, where I'm not on the computer or on my phone, watching an uplifting movie, listening to music, trying new restaurants. You can just kind of see all the things that I've kind of put in here, and kind of popped in some little pictures for that. So if you've got some stickers, awesome. But what I want you to do, number 1 through 28, and you don't have to fill them all out tonight, but you're just going to kind of think of these things, and then you'll commit to doing one each day for the 28 days of February. All right, sound good? All right, so I'm going to stop talking so that you can think and concentrate, play a little bit of music, and then I'll check back in and we'll continue on. Okay. right. So I saw lots of good things, folks. I saw Holly said, I could put 100 things. I was just thinking of so many things. And sometimes it's hard to get started, but once you actually start kind of writing some of these things down, I think a lot more can kind of come to you. And the idea, yes, is to be able to commit to doing one of these each day, right? But maybe it's something that's bigger. So what you want to do is you want to maybe spend a day planning something or thinking about something or setting up a time to do that. So again, whatever works for you. And also I want to apologize. I know a lot of folks were sharing in Sonder Club that they were having some trouble getting in. I hope everyone has been able to get in. I had pinged headquarters, and so I think they were going to send out a new link. Obviously, if you're not here, then you don't know that I'm saying this, but hopefully I've been kind of checking and Sonder Club looks like folks are getting in. So if you weren't here when I introduced this activity, this is our opening activity for getting the month set up. It was on a blank page. Oh, Monica, good. I'm glad you were able to get in through Eventbrite. And some folks were getting the email. Okay, good. Phew. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, Francis is saying just got here. So Francis, you didn't miss a ton. We just were doing our opening activity, which was finding a notes page, your thoughts journal, or page 7, and listing those 28 things that make you feel empowered or passionate, and then committing to doing one of these each day. So take a quick snap of this slide if you haven't had a chance to do this yet, because we do want to kind of keep moving. And thank you again so much for your patience. I'm sorry that there was a bit of a struggle getting in tonight, but hopefully we're all here now and it's good moving forward. All right. And then this was my page with just some ideas that I was kind of coming up with for my 28. And you can see I don't have 28 things yet. That's okay. Right. I will get them eventually. And feel free if you'd like to share pictures of your page, your 28 things, or share some of your ideas in Sonder Club so other people can get some ideas as well. So let's dive into our monthly planner. And we're going to start with January reflections. And I think this is always good to spend a little bit of time reflecting on the previous month. I know if you're like me, you kind of buzz through the month and then you realize like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. I didn't do anything last month. And so actually spending some time and reflecting is really important. So on that page, whoops, I lost my journal there. I think we are on page 8. We are on page 8 for our January reflections. And there's the section of January wins, January challenges, January favorite moments. And then at the bottom, we have what do we want to start, stop, and continue. So when you think about the wins, you're thinking about maybe something that you did, something that made you smile, made you happy, some sort of an accomplishment. I often like to list maybe movies that I've gone to see, knitting projects that I completed, any kind of, like if I finished some books, maybe I'll write that in there. And then challenges are maybe something that didn't go right, something out of your control, maybe a stumbling block or a stressor point. So for last month, I put our cat had to have, well, for January challenges, I put one of our cats had to have some dental work. And so that was a little stressful for her, therefore stressful for me. Definitely, a bit of a challenge. And then for the January favorite moments can really be maybe like an actual moment or something that you see or that you did. For mine, I put weekend in New York City. We spent last weekend, we were there. We got in Friday afternoon and then came back late Sunday night, but that was fun. We went to the Met and we went to the MoMA and we did a million things. And so that was definitely a favorite moment so far for January. And also I got a new bird feeder, so I've been watching that. So that's kind of fun. And then start, stop, and continue. So start are things that are not being done, but maybe you feel like they should be done or they need to be done. Things you want to start doing to get better results, things worth trying or experimenting with to get those better results. Stop are things that aren't working or they aren't helping or you don't need them anymore, right? Maybe it was something that you had been doing, but you don't actually need to do that anymore. Things that are impeding you or they're not practical, not delivering desired results, or maybe something that you don't like. Continue things that are working well, things you want to keep, worth continuing to see if they're worthwhile, things that you like or you need. So a good suggestion for this, I often suggest maybe scroll back through your calendar and take a look and kind of see what you did for the month. The other thing I like to do is to scroll back through my pictures in my phone, right? So a lot of times I think I didn't do anything over the month and I scroll back through those pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot we went to that new restaurant, or oh yeah, I forgot we, did this. So spend some time again doing that. Feel free to let us know some of those wins. You can let us know some of your challenges, some of your favorite moments, things maybe that you want to start, stop, and continue. Yes, Monica's saying phone's loaded with my 4-legged, almost 3-year-old pup. Yes, my phone has lots of pictures of my cats. Right. So let us know. I see some folks are starting to put things in the chat. Spend some time kind of going through, see what's in there. I'll be quiet so that you can write and you can think, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. right. So lots of good reflections. Again, like I said, it's really great to have this page to kind of think about what you did last month, things that you overcame, maybe things that you started doing that you want to continue doing, all of those things. Lots of great folks talking about time with family, birthday parties, all of those kinds of things. Awesome. Love that. Folks also sharing some challenges, right? Some challenges with work, challenges with health issues, challenges with significant others or children with special needs or any of those kinds of things, right? So just know that we are here for you for those challenges. We are also here for you to help you celebrate the wins, right? Oh, I just saw Karen had said her challenge was a mouse in her house. I'm assuming that was, no, she did not have a pet mouse. Mice in the house certainly are a challenge. Challenges with technology. Again, for those of you who are joining us a little bit later, we apologize for some of the issues we had. Hopefully everyone was able to make it in. And we do record these and we do have 3 more monthly setups that you can attend as well. So hopefully everything will go smoothly for you. So let's move on. Let's flip our page over to page 9, and let's talk about setting those February intentions. So here's some ideas and here's some things that you can kind of think about as you set these intentions. And remember, intentions aren't a to-do list per se, or a checklist of things that you want to do. These are really kind of how you want to feel overall, just kind of a way you want to approach these particular areas in your life. And you'll notice that there is a space for spiritual health, personal life, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. Again, this is on page 9. If any of those categories don't resonate with you, I know we have some folks like our stage manager here tonight, Jennifer O, who are retired and they're kind of like, well, I don't really have professional goals per se. So she's kind of changed things up to maybe be more like creative goals, right? Things that she wants to work on creatively for the month. Or maybe money management isn't necessarily something, so you might want to switch that up. So again, let us know too in the chat if there's any that you consistently switch up, because these are always the same every month, but you can always kind of switch one up to something else. You don't have to fill in every single box, right? You can just fill out the ones that maybe you want to focus on this month. So some different tips for things that you can do. You can use the theme of passion to set those intentions, right? So thinking about, you want to be really passionate about your physical health. So maybe your intention is to get as much movement in as possible, right? To really move your body in ways that you enjoy. You could also use your word of the year. If you've come to one of our socials that we had this month on choosing your word of the year, or you did the quiz that we sent out about choosing your word of the year, you could focus on that word of the year. My word for this year is release, releasing a lot of physical things, releasing clutter, releasing thoughts that don't serve me, those kinds of things. So I could go about those and kind of think about things. Maybe for my money management, I want to release my FOMO, right? My fear of missing out, and not think that I need to buy every single thing that I see sometimes. You can also focus on one area of your life, maybe such as self-love or self-talk, and then kind of use that as a focus for each one of these intentions. You can use the name or lyrics of a song that inspire you, right? Maybe you want to write something that you want to accomplish. Maybe you want to do a big goal and what your intentions need to be around getting that goal accomplished. Use stickers, color, doodle, images. Maybe you don't like to write. Maybe you want to use something more image driven. So that's awesome. Maybe you want to write one thing you want to let go of, or maybe you want to write something that you want to manifest in that particular area. So here are some examples that I have from previous months. So again, you can kind of see some different ways that people have kind of thought about. The one on the right, very simple, right? Just kind of words: spiritual health, fostering connection; physical health, grow your own way, right? Professional goals, inspiring creativity. The January one actually in the middle was mine from last January, interestingly enough. It's always kind of fun to go back through some of your old journals. And last January in 2022, the theme was Imagine. So I kind of focused on the imagine. So like for physical health, I put imagine endurance, and then return to running. I had a 5K that I did on the 9th. I will say that kind of fell off a little bit. So I'm like, maybe I need to put that back up on my intentions again. But remember, your efforts matter, and you do too. So really kind of thinking about this. And I also have the little picture of the it's okay not to please everyone. Here's a couple more ideas of things that you can do. The one up in the top left has some fun little Disney stickers and some ways that they want to feel, right? So key relationship, be soft, be gentle, read something helpful, do something nice, listen with empathy, right? Person in the middle drew some fun pictures, color with some colored pencils. Person in the top right uses sticky notes. Love to use the sticky notes, post-it notes when I'm working on my journal to start out with, because if you're like me, you're like, oh no, I screwed it up. Now I have to scribble out, and now I have an ugly scribble in my journal, which really is okay because we're not going to come knocking on your door checking. But I know how that feels to feel like, oh, I messed it up, which you really don't mess it up, but I know how that feels. Sticky notes are perfect, right? Put the sticky notes in there, write some things, some ideas. And then when you're feeling good about it, you've had a chance to, refine it, revise it, and then you can put it more permanently into your journal, right? So 6 different ideas for areas that you want to have some specific intentions around. And remember, we will refer back to these when we do weekly setups, when we do some of the other journals that to remind you to kind of look back at your monthly intentions. What were those things that you wanted, that intention that you wanted for the month, and see what that looks like. All right, so again, you know the drill. I'm going to play some music. You're going to work on this. Feel free to share in the chat. I see some folks are already kind of sharing some fun things that they are thinking of in terms of intention for the next month, and then we'll check back in. Okay, so excellent work there in the chat. From what I can see, folks are talking about all kinds of different things that they want to do, set their intentions for the month. I saw some folks talking about maybe some different ways that they want to kind of change up the categories, that they weren't necessarily needing, one of them, so they kind of made it their own category. Lots of folks talking about wanting to get into more volunteering, and I think that's a great way. A lot of times giving of yourself to others will help you sometimes figure out your purpose, will help you figure out your passions. One of the things that's really helpful sometimes is when you need something, really think about, like, what do I need? Maybe I need more communication. I need more people in my life really kind of communicating and talking with me and sharing. And in order to get that, you give that back. So maybe you volunteer somewhere where you can maybe go and chat with folks, maybe in a nursing home, or you can volunteer at a school and read books to kids. And a lot of times, if you give out what you need, you actually get what you need back. So lots of really good ideas for the intentions, how you want to kind of start out in February, how you want to feel, things that you want to focus on. Especially with, I saw some folks were saying, they were empty nesters. And so they were kind of, trying to figure out things are a little bit different, right? And kind of figuring out this new way. How do you want to feel? Lots of folks talking about wanting some more movement in their life, really wanting to kind of be intentional about getting some activity in. Excellent ideas. So really good. And again, make sure that you go back to this page. I am guilty too of spending a lot of time and being very thoughtful of filling it out. And then I forget to look back on this every week when I set up. So we're trying to remind everyone in our weekly setups to, as you're thinking of the habits that you want to set up, as you're thinking of your to-do list, right? Go back. How is that intention working? And this is very important too. Maybe an intention you set tonight, next week you go, that wasn't really quite right. As I was kind of thinking of things and as I went through the week, I think my intention is this. You can change it, right? You can get some white out. I think there's on Amazon, there's kind of a cream color white out. So you can kind of blank things out, but it doesn't look quite so stark and white. I think if you Google, or if you type into Amazon cream colored high correction tape or something, you can find that. But you can always change it if it's not working for you. Don't feel like you're stuck if your intention is not working out for you. Or if you couldn't really think of one tonight, you're like, gosh, I don't know. I'm still kind of trying to figure this whole thing out. That's okay. Maybe you fill it out next week after you've kind of gone through the first week of February as you're kind of thinking of things, right? No wrong way to do this. Again, remember, in the journal should never be a source of guilt or stress or pressure or anything like that. This is really for you to feel good about how you're going through things. And I see some folks are popping into the chat, the beige white out. So everyone's very helpful here, right? And erasable pens. Yes, Linda was talking about erasable pens. Let's move on to our mood tracker, which is on page 10. And is interesting kind of idea to track your moods. And so I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks here. And I will show you a feelings chart, a feelings wheel here, that you can maybe pick one emotion from each section of the feeling chart and put that in the 6 little boxes there. Maybe you want to pick a few different areas from the feeling chart and dive deep. Maybe you want to focus on passion this month. And then when you fill it in, maybe you fill in every emotion that came up that day, or you fill in whatever emotion was strongest. And then I'll be honest, I go through like a gamut of emotions in a day, and trying to track this, track my moods was not something that was super. I was like, I would just put every color, all 6 colors in there, right? So I like to repurpose it in some way. I'm still working on a good repurposing way that sticks for me, but I know some people have talked about repurposing it as like their reading log or their book tracker. Our stage manager, Jennifer O, she likes to use it to track her reading throughout the month. I know some folks, like one of our other facilitators, Bailey, she likes to use it to kind of help track her anxiety levels, how she's feeling with that throughout the month. And Jennifer O is putting in a link to the mood tracker not the mood tracker, but the feelings wheel graphic. And I will leave that up for a few minutes when we start to work on this. But I want to show you a few examples of some folks that use, Crystal's says she uses it as a step tracker. Perfect. So you can see like the person up in the top that was tracking anxiety levels. So it went from panic attack, heavy, frequent, moderate, light, or none when they were kind of thinking of their anxiety level throughout the month. Candace is saying uses it for a pain tracker. Absolutely can use it to track some symptoms. You can see the one up in the top in the middle has some different emotions: happy, sad, joy, peace, hopeless, and alone. And then she very beautifully kind of has the different ones that she felt. I was like, those are beautifully colored. But that would potentially stress me out to try to color all those. But if that's your jam, that's a great way to kind of use all those fun colored pens and pencils. The one underneath that is using it as a the mood tracker, but they have emotions and then they have energy, right? So they're like, here's the emotions that I was feeling. And then she colored in the lines for energy, high, medium, low. So kind of doing two different areas. And then the one up in the top, again, is tracking the moods with the fun colored stickers. And then that one on the bottom left, somebody just posted in Sonder Club today, and I thought, I'm going to take that and use it for the book tracker, right? So they already have an idea of the books that they want to read, and then they're going to use those stickers to kind of mark which books they read for each day. So awesome idea. I think that's, and here's the wheel with the feelings. I think that's the last one. Okay. Here's the lots of different feelings that you could potentially pick. Notice they're kind of categorized by fear, love, joy, surprise, sadness, anger, and then it gets much more deep into different specifics of each one of those. So you can totally use that to track as well. So I see lots of folks are sharing in the chat. So again, this is a great place for some of our new folks to kind of look and see what people are saying in the chat. What are they tracking? Jenny said she's using this to track self-connection foundations. Ashley's using it to track self-care activities or creative outlets, such as skincare, cross-stitch, hair care, reading, cooking new recipes. One time I used it to track different learning that I was doing. So if I was reading a book, watching like a TED Talk, doing some professional development at work, those kinds of things. So kind of keeping track of my learning. Look back at your intentions that you just set. Is there anything in there for intentions that maybe you want to track? Maybe it's calling someone, right? Maybe one of your intentions with that, with your key relationships was being closer and in closer contact with maybe family. So maybe you put family members' names in there and then you kind of highlight who you talk to for each one. Someone's using it to log 28-day empowerment tracker, right? Lots of great ideas for things that you can use, things that you can track over the month. So take a look at that, work on that. Let us know in the chat what you're doing. Again, play a little song. We'll check back in and see how folks are doing. All right, so lots of good ideas again in the chat for different ways folks are using this. If you're wanting to maybe focus more on tracking more positive things, look in those categories under love and joy and surprise, see if there's any of those. I did last month, I tried to track, I think it was tracking like fun, moments of fun. And so I did, I'll be honest, I do a pretty good job for like the first week or so, kind of tracking it. And then I tend to get a little forgetful to go in and make sure to mark it. But it was kind of a fun idea, just thinking like, okay, did I do something fun today? Was there something that was fun that made me smile, that made me laugh? Did I feel like it was fun? So another way to kind of think of what that looks like. I saw lots of folks talking about wanting to track movement, wanting to track different symptoms. A lot of people were saying that they would share some ideas in the Sonder Club for folks to take a look at. So love when you share. And remember, there's always, when you go into Sonder Club, there's an inspiration tab. So when you go in to the part where all the posts are, up at the top, there's a little one that says inspiration. Click on that, and then you can kind of scroll down and you can see some of the mood tracker ideas, and some of the different ideas there. So it's a great place to go. It's where I often go to find some fun examples for our socials. So let's move on to our last section here, which is going to be our habit tracker. And this really is, the idea with this one is that you're going, something you want to track every single day, something that you want to do every single day, make it a habit. So it could be something like make your bed. It could be take your vitamins. Maybe it's read 5 pages of a book, right? Something you want to do every day in February. Then when you get to the weekly one, there's a place to do habits that are more like, I want to do this twice a week, or I want to do this once a week, or I want to do this 3 times. But these really are for setting up for things you want to do every single day. So a few tips here. Again, you can use passion as your grounding themes. So different habits that would instill passion. Again, go back to those intentions you just set and think about what are some habits that doing every day. Oh, yeah, I got my Wordle fans in here, right? That you want to do every single day that would help with that. You can continue habits from last month. Maybe you had some stuff last month that you want to keep doing. Write those in. And I would strongly encourage you to find a balance, right? So some habits that you know you can do, and then some that you know are going to be trickier to commit to. Do not, I cannot stress this strongly enough, do not go in and fill in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brand new habits. That will stress you out. It will be too much. You will get frustrated, and then you will be like, I can't do this. And then you'll just stop, right? So don't be afraid to just put one thing in there that you want to do every day, or maybe 2 things, right? And Jenny's asking, like, I can never keep track of this daily. How do you guys do it? So one of the ways that I try to remind myself to go in and do the habit tracker and the mood tracker of however I've repurposed it is I set an alarm on my phone. Right. So 8 o'clock every night, a little alarm goes off, and I always go, why is that alarm going off? And then I look at the alarm and it says, fill out trackers. I'm like, oh yeah. So I go and do those. Phone alarms are great. Sometimes I'll set an alarm on my Fitbit so that it doesn't bother anybody if I'm like teaching class or something. So it's just the kind of buzzing on my wrist, just kind of reminding me to fill that out. You don't have to fill up every line. And remember that good habits are as addictive as bad habits, but much more rewarding, right? So think of some good habits, or these could be habits you don't want to do, right? Things you don't want to do. Maybe your habit is no drive-through, right? So you can put a check in every day that you don't do drive-through, right? So here's just a couple little examples of some things that folks have done. You can see the one on the top uses some pretty little colored stickers, and they don't have every single line filled in. The one kind of underneath, you can see how when she filled that in, when she got to like the 20th through the 25th, maybe she went on vacation, maybe it was just kind of like, I forgot to track, just kind of scribbled through it. You can write like Grace Day, don't have to, and you notice like not every single thing is filled out. It's okay if you don't get a little sticker every single day. It's great to look back on and say, I really wanted to do my 10 minutes of reading before bed, but I noticed I only did that on the weekdays and I never did it on the weekends. I wonder what I could do if I really want to commit to that or maybe, you know what, maybe I'm okay just doing it on those other days. So here's some other I found on our Silk and Sonder Instagram page. Highly recommend following them. They always have lots of fun things. So here's some fun small habits for self-love. So I see lots of folks sharing some fun things. I know Nona Natalie is saying she was thinking of doing her mandala. I didn't put an example of that in here this time, but I'm sure you can find some online, and I know she'll share it with us because she does a beautiful, very, very pretty drawing in her habit tracker to kind of help keep track. So let us know what you're tracking. Again, I'll play a little song and then we'll pop back and see how everybody's doing and wrap us up. All right. So, believe it or not, we have gone through our time together. Coming up here on the end. So hopefully folks have some ideas for their habit tracker. I saw lots of people with different ideas. And again, this should not be 7 brand new things that you haven't been doing, right? That's just going to stress you out and set you up for failure. So I always try to put something on there that I'm already doing once a day, just to kind of help me. It just kind of helps to have that to check out. So again, feel free to post these in Sonder Club and we can take a look. I did want to put this page up really quick for folks to take a quick snapshot of, because we get a lot of questions about the sleep tracker on page 12. So a lot of people say, oh, I've got a Fitbit, I've got a smartwatch that already tracks my sleep. I don't need to keep it on this page. So you can always just use this page for fun doodles and notes and stickers. You can also use it for maybe a cleaning log, a bingo list, a learning log, taking work breaks, any of those kinds of things. So take a quick snap of this so you can kind of see, oh, Lindsay uses it to write in screen time. Yep, excellent idea. So just different ways to repurpose that. So I want to thank everyone for joining. And let us go to, so again, remember to share your planner in Sonder Club if you feel like it, if it's something that you want to do. And we have, here's a QR code. So we do have the, you get 10, they get 10 for the Refer a Friend program. So you can scan the little QR code for that, or Jennifer O is putting the link in the chat so that you can do that. She is also putting the link in the chat for the YouTube recordings, right? So we do record all of our socials and they are up. You have to give us a few days to get, because they have to kind of go through and clean it up and put it up there. So it will take a few days. So this one probably won't be up until maybe Wednesday or Thursday, but they will be there. Make sure that you bookmark that page. Otherwise, you can't search it. You can't just find it other ways. You have to go specifically to this private channel that is just for our Sonder fam members, right? So hopefully everyone who are our first timers, you're getting used to this idea of setting up your journal. We do these every month. So there's always plenty of time for you to be able to take some time for yourself. Again, you can participate in the chat. It just gives you a nice time to block out an hour where you can tell your family, like, look, I've got an hour. It's just me social, doing my self-care time, right? And being able to work on that. And you can always keep working after we're done, right? So Jennifer's put a lot of different links in there, things to find. Jenny, I'm not sure which final page you're referring to. Do you mean this one? For the sleep tracker page. So hopefully everyone has a great week coming up. And let us know if you have any questions. This is the only QR page that we have right now, Jenny. So let us know if you have any questions, if you need anything. And hopefully we will see you on Sonder Club. And then see you here in the month of February. See you at lots of other socials. Have a fabulous evening, and we will see you all later.
Strangers in a world full of lonely lovers, find someone to take them by the hand. Sha-la-la, hey, 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 I'm in the mood, so all you summer lovers make it sway. Sha-la-la, hey, baby, I'm in the mood, so all you summer lovers make it sway. Been so long for so long, no co-pilot, no. And all of these love songs make you sick, I know. This ain't no karaoke, but no duet. We can sway along as you lose your head. All the pretty girls looking sad all summer. All the pretty boys wanna dance. Strangers in a world full of lonely lovers, find someone to take them by the hand. Sha-la-la, hey, 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 I'm in the mood, so all you summer lovers make it sway. Sha-la-la, hey, baby, I'm in the mood, so all you summer lovers make it sway. Swinging it high, swinging it low, no one tonight, gotta sing it along. Sha-la-la, hey, 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 I'm in the mood, so all you summer lovers make it sway. Make it sway. All the pretty girls look inside all summer. All the pretty boys wanna dance. Strangers in a world full of lonely lovers, find someone and take them by the hand. Sha-la-la.